All right, greetings all. Welcome back. This is a bit later than I would normally do another video of the day, other than in this case I left the house. Had to go to the Canucks store because I won those those auction items, and then they sent me extras. They sent me ones I didn't order. So being honest, I contacted them. They answered with, "Okay, this guy's telling us we sent him extra giant pictures," and so I took them back. And when I was there, I picked up a hat for myself. And there was a jersey, and I bought it for Yvonne because I have them all. So while we were going down and coming back, we were listening to Sirius XM radio, and I do listen to that in the vehicle, and it's interesting because you get into the NHL radio part, and there was a lot of stuff that I thought was really interesting. So I thought, all right, I got to do a video of this when I get home, because honestly, yeah, we're going to see a lot of chaos over the coming weeks. And I did like how they would talk about the Stanley Cup Finals and what was upcoming, and then just segue into, but once those are done, oh boy. And talking a lot about Tampa and the idea of offer sheets. But as intriguing as offer sheets might be, I don't know that they happen this year. So we're going to go through, we're going to talk about all this. And I'm going to work in a couple of signings that happened today, because I think they play into this narrative that we're seeing play out. It's going to be chaos for a few weeks here. First off, you're going to have buyouts. Once the playoffs are all done and teams are looking at the draft, and then you're looking at October 9th free agency, they're going to be like, okay, we want to move contracts. So almost every fan on the internet over the last month, I'll say, has had a bad contract on their team that they say, all right, so we'll just package him up with a young player or a draft pick, and we'll move him, and that saves our cap problem. It's done. Our cap problem's finished. Where are you moving that money to? The funny thing is, they even said, they said that too, and it's something that I've been wondering about for a while, which is, well, who's taking on all of it? And if you answer with, well, Ottawa would take on probably one. Detroit might take on one. There's no desire for these teams to pick up everybody else's dead cap and then end up with, or bad contracts, and then end up with the exact same problem themselves. So I think we're going to see buyouts. I think we're going to see guys shopped around by desperate general managers who know they can't keep things under the salary cap next year. And we're going to see buyouts happening. Now, of course, there's going to be trades as well. Some teams will take on those bigger contracts. They will extract a heavy price for that. And we're also going to see some players being bought out, and then they're free agents on the 9th of October. Goalies are going to be moving around a lot. The carousel, the free agent market when it comes to goaltenders and just goaltender movement in general could be insane this year. And I want to do a video specifically on that. I'm thinking probably tomorrow I'll do a video specifically on, all right, let's look at all 31 teams goaltending and which ones are good and which ones are going to change before next year. And odds are most of them are going to or could change by next year. As if, for instance, there's Hudobin, who's led Dallas this far. I don't know that he necessarily wants to move on from Dallas, or that Dallas can't find a way to keep him, but it depends on how much he's going to want and for how long. So goaltenders could be moved. There could be a ton of them moved, and locations, who knows. This could get completely crazy. And we see that every few years where goaltenders seem to move around, but I think this year could be above and beyond what we've seen before this year. Restricted free agents becoming UFAs. So it's been reported that there's dozens of restricted free agents who normally would get qualified, where a team goes, okay, you made $2 million, I'll give you $2 million, there's your qualifying offer, okay, and then we'll negotiate what you're actually going to make. Whereas GMs this year are going to say, well, your qualifying offer would be $1.5 million. I'm going to let you go. We're going to look for younger guys, cheaper guys within the organization. Maybe I'll bring in a veteran at $750,000, and I'm going to let your $1.5 million go. Or they take the idea, or they take that to the next level and say, okay, so we're going to let you go and take the chance of you being a restricted or unrestricted free agent signing somewhere else, but we think we can bring you back. So that's going to be interesting because those guys are going to become UFAs. Notice buyouts, now restricted free agents becoming UFAs. It could be a very, very busy day on October 9th. And then with the flat cap, there's going to be a lot of motivated sellers. And part of what we need to look at when we're looking at this is why that I've said I'm going to do this tomorrow. We need to look at bonuses. And it was something they talked about on the radio, and I thought it was really, really interesting. So you've got a guy on your team, and your cap hit's $5 million, but you paid a $3 million bonus on July 1st. The team picking him up has that cap hit of $5 million, but they're only paying him $2 million. So if they can afford the cap hit, that's actually advantageous to them, and you can sell an owner on that and say, hey, so our cap's going to go up, but we're only paying $2 million for this guy. Oh yeah, his cap hit's $4 million, but because it's mostly bonuses, we're only paying him $1 million. So for the teams that may be up against the cap and they have all these bonuses, and I'm looking at you, Toronto, if they play this right, they may very well be able to find somebody to take a contract or two off their hands. And other teams as well. Bonuses could factor into this too. And then the other thing, and I made this a different color because it's really important to underline this and just make sure I stress how important this is. There are 14 teams, according to Cap Friendly, that have less than $10 million in cap space right now for next season. That's not including any of the RFAs and UFAs they have to sign. That's none of them. So this is about half the league that we can look at right now and say, they're probably in cap trouble. And that's only likely going to get worse. It's likely only going to get worse as time goes on and we get closer to October 9th. As of, for instance, this is why I just left this. I thought, no, I'll throw in the restricted free agents that signed today. Jared McCann has signed a 2-year extension with Pittsburgh. We may see a lot of deals like this. It's $2.94 million per season, and he's still a restricted free agent on expiry. This is a COVID contract kind of idea. Like, okay, the market isn't good right now. I'm not going to get the deal I want. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to go ahead and sign a 1 or a 2-year deal for less money than I think I might be worth, betting that two years from now we're out of this economic malaise, and that then I can cash in. Then I can start making the big money. Aube-Kubel with Philadelphia, who does not have the same standing, obviously, as McCann. Very good player, though. 2 years at $1.075 million per. He's a restricted free agent on expiry either, which is key. This way, the player gets that bridge deal. They don't have to worry about it. The team, they're not looking at a horrible cap hit to keep the player under contract. And at the end of it, the team still has the control. They're still the owner. It's still a restricted free agent market that these guys will be on. They're not going to be unrestricted free agents. And that's seen as a key right now, too. Make sure that you maintain that control after the contract's done, which is part of the reason why Kyle Dubas got criticized the way that he did. That Matthews and Marner, at the time those contracts come to an end, they're both unrestricted free agents. So I think we'll see a lot of contracts like this. I think we're going to see a lot of that in between now and when the buyouts start. We will see guys signing these contracts. And for general managers, it's okay. Let's get these guys signed. Not worry so much about restricted free agents and qualifying them. For the guys that we aren't able to sign to these kinds of deals, we can let them go. And then we'll figure out how much money we have and then how much we're going to have to buy out. So we have enough money that come October 9th, when the unrestricted free agent market opens up, we're able to make sure that we can keep a team together. In the case of both of the Pennsylvania teams, they want to stay in the hunt. Pittsburgh wants to get back into contention, and for Philadelphia, they want to prove in back-to-back years that they can be a really solid team. So the pressure is on both of those teams to come through this period really well. This is where you find out who the really good general managers are and which ones likely could be looking at their jobs being on the line soon. Offer sheets. I've heard this discussion. My issue with offer sheets is simple. How many general managers right now in a league where 14 teams have less than 10 million in cap space, how many general managers are really in a position where they can say, I will offer sheet Sergachev, I will offer sheet Barzal, I'm going to throw an offer sheet at Cirelli? You don't have a lot of... Now, it's true. Tampa Bay doesn't have a lot of cap space where if you throw money at Sergachev, you throw money at Cirelli, you might be able to pry one or the other. But, or if you have a lot of cap space, both. But there aren't a lot of general managers that are in that position. And for the teams that have a lot of cap space, how many of those teams, are any of those teams in a position where they would say, we are going to spend tons of money on offer sheets and potentially lose a first, second, and a third, or a first and a third, or a second and a third, whatever the compensation is, it'll be interesting to see how this goes over the next few weeks, because it's going to happen. It's September 18th right now, October 9th, unrestricted free agency, and it could be October 10th. We're back here talking about a crazy Matthew Barzal offer sheet, something along the same lines as what happened with Aho last year. And the Aho offer sheet may very well have allowed other general managers this year to look at it. The thing is, because of the shutdown, because of the fact that it's a flat cap for at least the next couple of years, I think that makes it less likely that we see an offer sheet than we otherwise would have. The cap was still going up if we didn't have the economic issues we're going through right now. Odds are we would see offer sheets, and Barzal would be an immediate target. Sergachev would be an immediate target, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. And then the one other thing, too, that they threw out there, and I thought, now I don't know if they're throwing this number out there as a realistic number, if this is really what he's looking for. If Petrangelo wants $9 million as his cap hit, as his average salary, can he get it? And it's an honest question I have, and so I wanted to throw that out there to the channel, because I think in the current economic trauma that we're all going through, and that hockey teams are going through, does anybody have a $9 million laying around that they can throw at Petrangelo? And I don't know that there is. And again, and I mentioned this in the news today this morning, that if Petrangelo is willing to take less to play with a contending team like a Boston or a Pittsburgh, somebody like that, he may get a really good contract. But if he says, you know what, I've earned this, and he has the right to, and there are going to be players, Krug, Petrangelo, whoever it is, who say, I've earned the right to make X amount of dollars a year. Those guys make that amount of money. I am at least as good as they are. I deserve that amount of money. I won't decry that at all. That is absolutely how that works. And then the marketplace will decide whether or not they're going to get it. And I do wonder, can Petrangelo get $9 million? And if $9 million is the asking price, St. Louis still doesn't have that cap space. And it all comes back to there's 14 teams with less than $10 million in cap space. And if you're going to talk them into taking a bad contract, well, get in line, because odds are there are a lot of general managers calling around right now, and apparently general managers are phoning each other a lot right now about what they want to do and who they want to keep and who they want to get rid of, and is this guy available, is that guy available? And again, the crazy rumors about Darcy Kemper, I can't see Kemper moving. I just can't. I don't see how that benefits Arizona at all. I don't understand how that would benefit Arizona. But it's 2020. Anything can happen. Dallas is in the finals, so anything can happen. So the question I have for people watching this is, because, again, this is the talk right now on all the hockey-related sites. Are we going to have much ado about nothing? We go into every UFA market, and at the end of it, we look and go, it really wasn't that big a deal. We usually go into the draft and we're talking about all these great trades that could take place. Oh, this is going to be great. And then we come out of it and we go, there were some trades, but there weren't really the big blockbusters we were expecting. Is this year going to be different because of these factors? Is that going to change everything? Or are we going to come out of this and say November and say, well, it was a lot of talk about nothing again. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. And the McCann Aube-Kubel deals, this is likely what we're going to see, but how far do you think that goes? Are UFAs going to be taking less term as well because of the economic issues currently going on? Again, take a 2 or 3 year deal with the idea you're going to make more money after that's over. Be interested to know what you guys think. It's an interesting discussion to have. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.